happy GAQA Tuesday. I hope you guys are having a fantastic, magical, as always, wonderful Tuesday. I know I am. It's been a busy morning already. I had to take my youngest to the doctor just for a well checkup. She's fine and happy and healthy, but she's starting kindergarten in August, and so of course she had to get like her whole kindergarten screening thing. Like they had to check her hearing and her vision and make sure she was happy, healthy, and full of love, which she is. I hope you guys had a fantastic 4th of July weekend. I did. I spent it with some old friends. We went downtown, watched the fireworks. I almost died. You heard right. I seen my life flash before my eyes. Friday night I was setting off fireworks and I had bought this thing called kryptonite and I had no idea what it did. I was like, oh, it looks cool, whatever. It was like this big, right? So I figured it's going to be loud. I just assumed it would be loud. It would be one of those that would be like an artillery shell going off in my ear. So I go and I unwrap it and I'm laying it on the cardboard that we're using to shoot things off, and I light it and I back away. You like do the fireworks back up, you know, where you kind of saunter back a little bit. I take 10 steps back from this thing, maybe 10. And this thing just blows up in my face. I took off running. All you seen was my phone like in the ground and this spark. It was awful. Like, I was terrified. I then instantly became a bystander. I was like, I'm watching. No more. I'm done. I quit. It was absolutely horrific and scary, and just chalk it up to another reason that I do not like fireworks. I like watching them. I like sitting on a blanket and watching them in the sky. That right there is the prime reason that I don't like watching, don't like setting them off. But we're not here to talk about firework catastrophes or 9 a.m. doctor's appointments. We are here for GAQA Tuesday, where I answer all of your Ghost Adventures related questions that you guys either message me or ask me all up on the Facebook page. And we have a really good list of questions today. And I'm going to get started because, as always, I like to ramble and they can go a little long. Our first question is, with season 11 and 12 both picked up for Ghost Adventures, do you think the guys will move in a different direction to keep the attention of their audience? That's a really good question, because when you're picked up for multiple seasons, you have a lot of pressure on your shoulders to bring something really good. And with Ghost Adventures, I mean, they've got to have a location to freaking investigate. There's tons of places in the world that they can investigate. And I think, if anything, that's what we're going to see. I think we're going to see a lot more overseas stuff. We're going to see a lot more, travel, I think, going into it. They're not going to maybe just stick to the U.S. There may be some places that they go back to that they haven't been back to. I think for people who have been there since season 1, episode 1, like me, and probably like most of you, we don't have an expectation because we're just true fans. We'll love anything they do as long as we get to have a part of it. I think as long as we get to be a part of it, we're not going to be as judgmental as someone who's coming in maybe season 5, 6, 7 in. We're not going to have the expectation that someone else, like a new fan, may have. You know, someone who's watching season 11 for the first time and they've never watched Ghost Adventures before, and it may not be what they expect it to be. I think that it's going to hurt them there, but I think that they have enough diehard fans that it's not really going to matter. And so I think, as far as the direction goes, I think that they're going to stick with what they've always done. I know with Bill Chappell being on board, I think we're going to see a lot more technical development within the show. Just being able to see a lot more equipment. I think we're going to be able to see the strides that the paranormal world is making when it comes to equipment and being able to investigate with such equipment. Having an engineer on your staff is kind of a big perk, and I think we're going to see a lot of that, which I'm really excited for. And I think that we'll maybe even see a lot of people maybe come in. I think they may start bringing people in. I know Zach has kind of always been against that, but I think that the time has come that they may start bring in not necessarily like random people off the street, but they may start bringing in, you know, like other paranormal investigators or, you know, other people to help them prove their scientific place in their place in the scientific world, I guess, because it's always a goal for anyone who studies the paranormal or who is into the paranormal for it to be a proven science. And they work really hard to do that. I mean, with the paranormal, you can't put it in a lab and you can't replicate it. But I think that in an experimental setting, but I think that it is making such great strides in the technical department with the invention of all of this equipment that we're getting closer to it being acknowledged the way that it should be. So I think maybe that's where it's going to go, and I'm really excited to see that because it's interesting to learn about, to see where before we just had a digital recorder and a camera. Now we have, you know, the Spirit Box and the SLS cam, and we have the Kinect technology, which is huge. So I think that good things are coming for the guys, and I think the direction that they go will be the direction that they feel is best. And true Ghost Adventures fans will love them no matter what they do. Moving on. Our next question. What are your thoughts on the show Paranormal Challenge? And now, for those of you who don't know, Paranormal Challenge was a show that they did a couple of years back with Dave Schrader. And Zach and Dave did this show where they had different paranormal teams, investigation teams from across the country come together at a location, like 2 or 3 teams at a time, and they would send them out into the same location. And it was basically like it wasn't like a game show, because, I mean, they didn't win it. But they've got, like, it was just, like, bragging rights, I guess. It was just a different take on investigating. And I personally really enjoyed it because they would send these 2 or 3 teams out to this location, right? And they would all do their own thing. And it was really neat to see how each team functioned within themselves. You know, how they went about conducting their own investigation. And I thought that was really, really, really neat because it shows how teamwork is important. It shows the importance of voicing your opinion and stating how you feel and what you think needs to happen, and who really has that leadership mentality and who really doesn't, and kind of likes to stay on the wayside. So I really enjoyed the show. I don't know why they stopped it. I don't know if it became a scheduling conflict or if it just wasn't getting the viewership that they thought it would. But I personally really enjoyed Paranormal Challenge. I think that they need to bring something like that back. I think that it would be really, really interesting. Maybe not like a season thing, but like, you know, I think it'd be really cool to do it once in a while. You know, maybe when Ghost Adventures is on a break or on a hiatus. But I know that the guys are so busy doing other things that it's really probably hard for them to take on anything else. And I think maybe that was why they stopped, because I know Dave Schrader's just as busy as Zach is. So I really enjoyed the show. I think that it was a really interesting concept. It just may not have taken off the way they thought it would. And let's face it, if something isn't successful in Hollywood right away or successful on TV, then they're just going to give it the axe. But I really liked it. I miss it. I think it was a cool show. And I hope that they maybe do something like that again. Something along those lines. Our next question it was asked on the page. And I didn't comment on it because I wanted to comment on it in the video. Because I like, when I see Ghost Adventures related questions, I like to keep them like in the back of my mind. And not really make a comment on it on the page necessarily, but like to do it in my video. Somebody on the page asked, why do you think so many people dislike Zach? I have my thoughts on this, and I just want to tell them to all suck it. No, I'm kidding. Kinda. But, because I love Zach. But I think that Zach is not a personality type for everybody. You have to have kind of that hardcore, I don't give an F attitude when it comes to Zach, which I have. I don't give a damn what anybody thinks about anything. You can have your opinion, and I'll listen to it, but that doesn't mean I'm going to take anything you say to heart. Because I live how I want to live, and I think that Zach does the same thing. He's got a very strong personality, and maybe it's an empath thing. I've noticed that the more empaths I meet, we all kind of have the same personality in the sense that we don't give a crap what people think. We are very open with our feelings and our emotions, and we are very stubborn and hard-headed, and we don't take no for an answer, and it's very hard for us when we have to take no and we don't have a choice. And Zach is very much that personality. He's very much open with how he feels, open with what he thinks, very fly-by-night, very spontaneous, very out of the box, and that comes across as big-headed and almost douchebag-like, I guess. Hate that word, but it happens. I mean, I think that I think it comes across that way because he's very strong-willed, and not everybody is attracted to that kind of personality type. It takes a very special person to be around that. I think it threatens certain people, and it makes people feel like they're not necessarily up to par or whatever. And so their thing is to attack him. I don't want, I don't agree with the way he acts, so he's a jerk face. Well, it's just he has a very strong personality, and he's very opinionated and very loud and very right there. And it just takes, I think, a special type of person to be around that and be able to be friends with that or be in a relationship with that. And I think it's just, I don't know, I don't necessarily think he's a very threatening person. I think he's just very strong and very loud. I like him. I think that he is really great because he stands up for what he believes in, and that's really important anymore. If you let people walk all over you like a freaking doormat, then you're going to be nothing. You're going to get nowhere. You're going to be unhappy. You're going to be miserable. And Zach doesn't let people walk on him. He doesn't take no for an answer. And when he is presented with a challenge, he hits it head on. And I think that's awesome. So all of you who don't like Zach can suck my big toe. No, I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding. I mean, it's just to each their own. It's just however you want to take him. But I like Zach, and I think that he's a great guy, and I think that he's doing great things for the paranormal world. Our next question is, what got the crew started with the show? This is a really good one. I've talked about it before, but that, like I said, was probably 1,000 members ago. They've all had their fair share of experiences for whatever reason. Zach had his first paranormal experience when he was in Michigan. The other guys have all been attracted to the paranormal and the weird. And so when Zach met Nick at Nick's wedding, he DJ'd Nick's wedding, which I think is freaking hysterical. When he met Nick, and then Nick introduced Aaron to Zach, they were mutual friends. They all decided to kind of do this across Nevada trek of all these different little mining towns and these haunted locations, and they shot it and did a documentary series for it. They pitched it, and it took off. It was on the Sci-Fi Channel, and then it went to the Travel Channel, and then they were picked up for their first season of Ghost Adventures. I think that their love for the paranormal and all things weird, Zach having his experience when he was living in Michigan in his apartment with the woman that committed suicide there, I think all of that stuff culminated in their desire to know more. And I think that it was a big case of curiosity killed the cat. And so they just decided, hey, why not? Let's, there's tons of stories about stuff in Nevada. And so, they went to Virginia City, and they went to the mine, and they did all this stuff. They went to the Washoe Club, and all of these places, and got all this great evidence. I mean, one of the greatest pieces of paranormal evidence ever captured in the world, ever, is caught on Zach's documentary when they went to Virginia City for the first time and went to the hotel and got the evidence of the brick being thrown and the boards levitating. OMFG. We all know and love that piece of evidence. So I think it's just their love for the paranormal and their love for all things weird that really got them started. And then they did the documentary and they took off. I don't think they ever expected to be ever filming season 11 of Ghost Adventures, but it's just one of those things, and it got the fan base and it got the support it needed early on, and look at it now. So thank you for your question. That's a really good one that I haven't got to talk about for a while. Our last question was again asked on the page, and kind of it was asked with the whole why do we think so many people dislike Zach question, which is the Demon House documentary. There's a lot of controversy, I think, that's going to come out of this whole thing. The Demon House documentary, for those of you who are just following us or Zach or anything Ghost Adventures related, is a documentary Zach shot about the home in Indiana that he purchased from a family who was possessed in the home. This is a very credible story. It has very credible witnesses. It has documentation galore from Child Protective Services, from the local police department. They've witnessed this little boy in the family walking backwards up a wall. What the F? Tons of hardcore nasty evidence has come out of this house. And so Zach decided to shoot a documentary involving this house. It's going to be released this fall. And we are all like on pins and needles about it, because it is one of those things that has gotten so much hype leading up to it that it's going to be really epic, I think. Because of the Ghost Adventures fan base, I think it's going to be popular just for that reason, because it's something Zach did. Even though it's not Ghost Adventures related in the sense that it has Ghost Adventures in the title or it's an investigation, it's a project solely done with Zach. I know a lot of the crew and stuff helped, but it's going to be insane, and I'm really excited about it. I can't wait to see it, even though it's going to scare the living crap out of me, because I don't do demons. For whatever reason, I don't do demons. I can do spirits, I can do poltergeist, I can do anything that you want to throw at me. Something about demons scares the living F out of me, and I think it's because when a demon gets a hold of you, they own you. They control you, and I don't like being out of control. In those kinds of, like, out of control of my own body. Like, I feel very, lost and very just whatever. And so it would just throw me, it would just be awful. I've never personally had an experience with anything like that. I don't know what that's like, but I've watched way too many TV shows and way too many documentaries and way too many informational things to know that this crap is real. And it's not to be messed with, and I don't do demons. So I applaud the people that were even a part of this, because what they did was very dangerous. And I know that a lot of people were affected with the whole situation. And so I'm just really, really excited to see how it plays out. And I cannot wait for it to come. I don't even know what format it's coming out on. I don't know. If there was talk at one point where it was going to be released in theaters, and now I don't know. I don't know. I don't particularly care, as long as I get to see it, even though I'm going to be watching it on this bed under this blanket with all of these pillows and my bear all curled up with the lights on. So that is all I have for GAQA Tuesday. I will be back tomorrow for What Should I Do Wednesday, where I answer all of your general paranormal related questions that you guys ask me all up on the Facebook page. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday. I'm off to go get my oil changed in my car and find something to eat and veg out. So until tomorrow, stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe if you are anywhere in the line of all of the weather craziness that has been going on here lately. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Much love and happiness.